What started as a nostalgic trip through Hollywood history turned into a shockingly tense and unforgettable television moment when Harrison Ford, iconic star of Indiana Jones and Star Wars, abruptly stormed off the View after a fiery live clash. With co-host Joy Behar, Ford had been invited on to promote what many believed might be his final action-adventure film. Reflecting on decades in the industry, the evolving nature of cinema, and his legacy as one of Hollywood's most enduring leading men, the tone began light. With Whoopi Goldberg reminiscing about past awards shows and Anna Navarro praising Ford's understated charisma. But as the segment progressed, Joy Behar took the conversation in a different direction, one that would ignite. A verbal showdown no one on set was prepared for. Joy began by referencing a comment Ford had made in an earlier interview, suggesting that some actors today are more interested in activism than acting. She asked, "Don't you think that's a little dismissive of people who are just trying to use their platform for good?" Ford, visibly shifting in his chair, responded with a measured but firm tone. "I didn't say activism was bad. I said the job of an actor is to tell stories, not push agendas." There's a difference. Joy, never one to let a statement slide, without a challenge, countered quickly. "But isn't everything political now? Isn't silence its own kind of statement? Maybe people want their stories and their beliefs heard." Ford frowned, his trademark gravelly voice sharpening. "There's a time and place for politics. Not every stage needs a soapbox." The audience murmured as the tension started to rise. Sonny Hostin attempted to redirect the conversation by pointing to Ford's environmental advocacy, suggesting that he himself had used his platform for causes. Ford acknowledged that, but reiterated that he's always tried to keep activism and acting separate when it came to his film roles. "I don't do speeches in the middle of a scene," he said. "And I don't expect characters to preach." That remark clearly rubbed Joy the wrong way. She leaned forward and said, "But some of the best films ever made had messages. You think To Kill a Mockingbird wasn't political? Or Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Good stories do have something to say, Harrison." Ford responded more curtly now. "Of course stories have meaning. I'm talking about actors turning press tours into campaign rallies." Joy raised an eyebrow. "So when Meryl Streep makes a speech, that's a problem for you?" Ford replied. "Quickly, no. When someone can't finish a question about their movie without diving into policy, that's a problem." The room felt heavier now. It wasn't the banter audiences were used to. It was two powerful, experienced voices locked in a philosophical fight about fame, responsibility, and where entertainment ends and personal convictions begin. And neither was giving an inch. Joy, sensing the heat, doubled down. "You've had a charmed career, Harrison. Maybe you don't feel the urgency other people do. Maybe that's a kind of privilege, too." That word privilege set Ford off. He leaned forward, his face suddenly far more animated than during the rest of the interview. "You don't know me," he said. "You don't know what I've been through, what I've worked for, what I've sacrificed. Just because I'm not shouting into microphones doesn't mean I don't care." The audience gasped. Joy tried to soften the moment with a half laugh, saying, Okay. No need to storm the temple like Indiana Jones, but the tension didn't ease. Ford snapped back, "This isn't a joke to me, Joy." The producers were frantically waving from off-camera, trying to cue a break, but the confrontation had reached a boiling point. Ford removed his mic, stood up, and with a sharp glance around the table, muttered, "I don't do circus acts," before storming off. The commercial break couldn't come fast enough. When the show returned, the panel looked visibly shaken. Joy, still recovering from the verbal blows, attempted to downplay the moment. "Well, Harrison Ford doesn't mince words, does he?" she said, trying to laugh, but the humor fell flat. Whoopi jumped in, reminding viewers that The View is a space for strong opinions, even when they clash. But it was clear that this wasn't just a passionate debate. It had been a rare loss of composure from an actor known for his cool, controlled presence. Reports quickly surfaced online about what had happened backstage. Some said Ford had demanded to speak to the executive producer. Others claimed he left the building without a word. Whatever the truth, one thing was certain: It wasn't just another daytime interview gone awkward. It was a moment that would dominate headlines for days. Asterisk. Social media erupted. The hashtags #Harrison storms out and #Joy vs Ford were trending within the hour. Fans of Ford defended him fiercely, praising his refusal to be cornered. Others criticized him for what they perceived as arrogance, suggesting that he couldn't handle being challenged by a strong woman on live TV. Political commentators weighed in, using the moment as another example of generational divides: celebrity entitlement, or the tensions between art and activism. Memes poured in, late-night hosts took jabs, and YouTube commentators analyzed every gesture and phrase with frame-by-frame breakdowns. It wasn't just celebrity drama, it was cultural commentary dressed up as a talk show segment. And for a star who's long avoided the messier parts of Hollywood fame, Ford had suddenly become part of the very thing he tried to avoid: a spectacle. Asterisk in the days that followed. The View maintained a dignified stance, neither apologizing nor escalating the matter further. Joy Behar briefly addressed the fallout on the next episode, saying only, "Sometimes people don't like being disagreed with, even when it's polite." Ford, on the other hand, remained silent. No tweets, no public statements, no follow-up interviews. Those close to him hinted that he felt blindsided, that the appearance had been promoted as a conversation about film, not philosophy. Insiders at ABC admitted the clash had been unpredictable, but privately expressed relief at the ratings spike. Meanwhile, Hollywood divided along familiar lines. Some stars defended Joy, others reached out to Ford in solidarity for younger audiences. The moment became a flashpoint for a broader conversation. Are older celebrities out of step with modern values, or is the media too eager to bait them? Asterisk, what made the confrontation so unforgettable wasn't just the people involved, but how suddenly it all unraveled. One moment it was an actor promoting a film, and the next it was two public figures lobbing ideological grenades across a coffee table. It reminded viewers that even scripted shows can't contain human emotion. That even legendary icons like Harrison Ford can lose their cool when their principles are challenged. And that Joy Behar, for all her comedy and candor, knows exactly how to press a button, whether she means to or not. It wasn't about right or wrong. It was about the raw clash of generations, values, and expectations. And in a world where most interviews are forgettable, this one cut through the noise. Asterisk, as the media storm gradually faded. One truth remained. Harrison Ford had walked onto that stage expecting to talk legacy and walked off it leaving behind a moment of unfiltered honesty that would be analyzed for years. Whether it changed anyone's mind is debatable, but it undoubtedly reminded everyone watching that behind the headlines, behind the applause, and behind the polished PR machines, celebrities are still human, prone to pride, sensitive to challenge, and sometimes just one pointed question away from saying, enough. For The View, it was a moment of television gold. For Ford, it was a reminder that no one, not even Han Solo himself, is above the firestorm of live TV.